Police reform is something that obviously was a mandate that came from the governor. However, let's be very clear about this. The city of Utica is one of the very first to have body-worn cameras, the very first with the 58 transparency and putting online all of their records. This was something that we've been doing right along, but we could always be better. I'm very impressed with the committee that we've put together. These are people that have had their feet on the ground for many, many of years. They know the issues of our great city, and we've met for over 8 months going over this, and I think the end result, you're going to be very pleased at the outcome of this.
Part of the outreach component to the governor's police reform committee was that you had to have community outreach, and we found some areas lacking with our community, that there's some issues within the community of repeat individuals who are falling through the cracks with respect to outpatient services and inpatient services, things of that nature. So part of the review committee established a crisis intervention team, which we're going to aptly name our CIT. It's a member of the Utica Police Department who has a background, education, and interest in outreach in the community. They are going to partner with MCAT to establish a full-time team to demonstrate the ability for the Utica Police Department and the community to provide services to individuals with mental health issues, addictions, alcohol addictions, things of that nature, who otherwise may not get the services if it was left to their own devices. And we find that, unfortunately, these individuals aren't apt to solitary living. So we're going to provide an outlet to them with our officer partnered with MCAT to provide them services that they require. A huge portion that I think was lacking in a lot of other areas with respect to other municipalities, and I'm happy to say I think it demonstrates the partnership that the community and the Utica Police Department have here with the city of Utica combined, is that they were very concerned about officer wellness. The Utica Police Department, in conjunction with the Police Review Committee, thought of an idea that we should add support to officers to take care of their mental and physical wellness. We're going to train at least 3 more peer support officers in EAP, which is the Employee Assistant Program, ability to assist officers with both professional and personal stress. Healthy officers make good decisions. Healthy officers come to work ready to work. They reduce sick time. They reduce complaints on the street. And overall, they make for a better officer. The longevity of the career and the mental health and physical health of the officer we find is very important, and we're happy that the committee saw that. So I think that a lot of issues with police are lost. You know, they have professional stress. They're people. They have problems with money sometimes. They have familial problems or just everyday stressors that people don't realize. Coupled with the stressful job on the professional side, that gets lost in the area. And I think that this ability to have peer support officers and a care from the city and the Police Reform Committee is going to go a long way in ensuring that our officers have mental and physical well-being. So procedural justice is a theory, and really it needs to be a daily functioning aspect of every officer on the Utica Police Department. It ensures transparency, fairness, impartiality, and a voice to individuals that are encountered during police encounters. You don't necessarily have to agree or like the encounter that's going on, but you need to feel valued, that you as a person have a say in what's happening with you, that you have a voice, you have the ability to speak to the officer, that the officer has described and informed you as to the reason for the stop or the encounter, no matter what the condition is, that you feel that the officer is being transparent with you, that the ability for him to stop has been clearly explained to you, why you're being stopped, what the reasons for the stop, what the encounter is, and that you have impartiality. Going forward, we're going to start auditing officers' body cams to ensure that procedural justice is encountered in every single stop of an individual, and every single call that a police officer goes on, and every single encounter that we have with the Utica Police Department. It's going to be up to the supervisor to conduct regular audits of officers' body cam, and that's also going to be a part of their annual review. So a procedural justice component. Did they treat people fair? Was there impartiality? Did they allow the individual a voice? And were they transparent with their stop? Is going to be a huge component to everyday policing, as well as now the officer evaluation at the end of the year by their supervisors. We ask that the public do the same with us. This is about police-public cooperation. This isn't about police being an overbearing force or the public needing to do a particular thing. It's about a partnership and a cooperation to understand that we have a job to do and we have a role to do, but the public also has a role in assisting with investigations and treating us fair with respect. If they're asking us to treat them fairly, give them a voice, doing things of that nature, allow us to do our job, treat us with respect, and it'll go a long way combining that partnership that we need. So a huge component of the procedural justice theory is that it should reduce negative officer-citizens encounters. So someone may not agree with the process, but that's okay. If the officer was fair and transparent and provided rationale for the cause and reasons why he's doing what he's doing, we hope that that goes a long way with the police community interactions. Resisting arrest is never okay. If you don't agree with it, there is a court process. There's ways to do it. But a lot of it comes on the police officer. If they encounter you in a professional, appropriate manner, then that certainly will reduce on citizen complaints, resisting arrest charges, and things of that nature. We can go a long way in making a police-community partnership that all can respect, if not agree with.
So rotating officers through the community outreach team, it gives officers the chance to interact with people in the community and people in the community a chance to interact with the officers. So we already have a community outreach team here, and they do a lot of different events in the community, help with a lot of different initiatives such as doing movies in the park, pick up basketball games, and helping with PAL and helping with junior academy stuff. So it's just important to us to give other officers a chance to be able to put themselves in that role and build relationships with the community. It's really a great opportunity for relationship building and people to be able to see a familiar face on the police force. So we just want to give it a little bit more to just make it a better initiative. We wanted to give the citizens a mechanism to make complaints, but also be able to follow up on complaints and know that their voices are being heard. So we are introducing a couple different ways to make sure that the community knows what's going on with their complaints and with the police department. So one, we wanted to give the community to be able to make complaints directly from the police department's website, and then also be able to follow through with them to make sure that they know the outcome of the complaint. Secondly, we really wanted to make sure that while the personnel files are being updated, when new stuff is happening, it's being updated in a timely manner as well. If there's a complaint, if there's a compliment, that will be reflected on the city's website in a timely manner. And lastly, we wanted to make sure that when credible criminal accusations are made against the police officers, the public is also made aware of that. So those complaints will be forwarded to the Civilian Public Safety Review Board, and then they can decide how they're handled and how they are presented to the press. So the importance of having a recruitment program is to make sure that we are seeing the police department reflect the diversity that's within our community. So we want to work with the school district, work with the local colleges, and make sure that we have a program that gets kids involved with the police officers at a young age, teaches them about the careers, helps them to build relationships, and then ideally they will become police officers someday, and that should help increase the diversity within the police department. There is interest from younger kids. The program that I currently run is primarily minority high school kids, and we know that that's pretty much reflective of what our community actually looks like. By diversifying the police department, we hope that a lot of the distrust between the community and the police will kind of go away and turn into building trust, because the people that are in the police department look like the community it's serving.
So ever since Mayor Palmieri and Chief Williams took over this particular department, transparency in moving this department forward in a very progressive manner has been at their forefront. We can't thank them enough as officers, and I hope the community recognizes that as well. There wasn't a bunch of mandates that weren't successful in their undertaking. I feel that we're going to be very successful with respect to the mandates and the suggestions coming forth in this particular committee, and we look forward to implementing them and make sure the community is a safer place.